My Lords, it's a great pleasure to follow the Noble Lord Davies of Brixton, and indeed he picked up a point that was in my Amendment 21A about the involvement of pupils and the follow-up question I asked the Labour Lady Minister, and perhaps we can work on that amendment at report stage because I think it's something that's absolutely crucial, and I don't think we have to keep it to voting age or even 16. I think at some level pupils should have a say in their education if we operate in a democracy. I'm aware that the Noble Lord Nash is not currently in his place, but I feel very strongly that I feel some need to respond to what he said about stars in education, star teachers. And I think underlying that is a real concern of importing some traditional private sector approaches that have seen some executive head teachers receiving extremely high levels of pay, whereas what we have to acknowledge is, particularly in an educational setting, ultimately you're talking about a teacher who should be part of a team of teachers working together, and every teacher has something to offer in that. And the idea that you hold up some people as stars and everyone else just has to follow what they do is, I think, a deeply damaging approach to education. And I also note the point that the Noble Lord Nash made about curriculum resources. And of course we don't want every teacher to have to start from scratch, but I think there's also a grave concern, as this bill talks about multi-academy trusts as being proprietors, and of course they're by law not for profit, but if they are then if they are very large institutions buying curriculum resources, buying other supplies from commercial suppliers, then we really have some questions to ask about where's the value for money, where's the right approach to public service in that kind of structure. And I think particularly responding to the Noble Lord Knight, yes, I think it's great to have parent governors on multi-academy trusts, but I would suggest that the same problem that you might have as a head of a multi-academy trust also applies to a couple of parent governors. If you think about a geographically diverse, how on earth do those parent governors really represent every school, every part of that broader? I think you have to have, and that's why I attach my name to Amendment 25 in the name of the Noble Lord Hunt of King's Heath, also backed by the Noble Lady Baroness Blower. But this debate really has convinced me that 24 to 27 inclusively is really a complete set of amendments that we need to see in this bill. And I would also add that whilst I don't agree with everything about the structure, I think the Amendment 38, the inclusion of the local authority, is absolutely crucial. I mean, I think actually my Amendment 21A would have been better in this group. And I'm not going to repeat all the arguments I made then about schools being civic institutions and part of their communities. But I think what I set out in 21A was the statement that this is standards, that should be the general standard. This is the way that standard is actually delivered, this set of amendments.